All right, so let's get to it. This is like the 5th time I've recorded this video. I think this last one that I just did was 100% correct. I loved it. We just didn't have any audio, but now I can see that the audio is turned on. So I always struggle with audio. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just cursed. I struggle with audio like in my fucking everyday life. Anyway, oh guys, I'm also hard of hearing, so honestly, just please pray for me. So where should we start? All right, how was Deep Naked Thoughts born? Well, I'm gonna tell you guys about Naked and Raw. Oh my god, all these names, you're like, Naked and Raw? Oh my god. But before Naked and Raw, there was Valo Soyo TKD, and before that, there was ABA Brainy. So I actually have a picture. Let me see if I can pull it up. But I have a picture on Instagram where I vividly remember telling my best friend at the time, I was like, you know what I really want to do? And he was like, no. I'm like, you want to do a lot of stuff. Actually, I just found it. I want to start a YouTube channel. So I'll actually share it right here. It's like on my Instagram. But this was at NMSU. And that was a day where I was like, I want to do YouTube. And back then I really didn't know what I wanted a YouTube channel on. I know growing up I was very competitive and into martial arts. A lot of like my posts are about martial arts. Like there's this one, like my whole goal was to like make it to the Olympics or the Army Taekwondo team. Like I've posted a couple of times. I keep those posts up just because that is really what I wanted in life, and I've gone for it. Like I've failed, but like people know that like that's what I wanted. Like that's what I wanted. So I didn't want to make Taekwondo content. I was a criminal justice major, then a psych major. I interned. I did brain research, which I fucking loved. I also researched as an undergrad sex. I did a lot of sex research, which was really cool. And so I started working at a company doing ABA work. I'm a registered behavioral technician. I'm an RBT. And it kind of just lined up with my degree. I was like, yeah, like let's freaking do this. Like we're all in. So I got my bachelor's, finished that, and then I just decided, I guess if you take anything away from me is learn from my failures. Just because you're good at something doesn't mean you should do it. I am a wonderful, amazing RBT, and people were rooting for me. They're like, you're going to be an amazing BCBA, like you should go to grad school, like invest in your future. I already knew that I had to go to grad school for my degree anyway, but I was like, you know what, I'm already in this field. I have mentors, like, fuck it, like I'm going to do it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Take time to figure yourself out. Because honestly, going to grad school, although I'm proud now in hindsight, and I'm so much better because of it, and the things that I can offer society and the world and my clients and parents and teachers, I'm not happy about it. It's not something that I did because I wanted to. I felt like, I was like, well, I don't know what else to do, and I wasn't brave enough to pursue what I really wanted to, which was YouTube. So I did it, and it was like the worst time of my life. I was like, I regret it. I don't, but I wouldn't do it again. So during that time, I decided like, how am I going to fall in love with this field? And I knew I wanted to do content creation. I just didn't really know how. And in my field, applied behavior analysis, it's all about data. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start ABA Brainy, which was just a way to get resources, knowledge for parents, therapists, teachers, so that we could help individuals with autism on the autism spectrum and, you know, just help them live more independent lives. So I did that. I went live on radio. I talked about it. Like, I really freaking hyped it up, team. Like, I was like, fucking go follow this account. Like, good things are coming. And people believed me. Like, I believed in it. But, here's the but. I couldn't play the long game. This was not something that I could consider sustainable just because my heart was not in it. I didn't love it. And I'm not saying you should love something, but you should love something enough to suffer for it. Like, if it's going to keep you up, if you're going to edit, if you're going to be invested, like, you have to love it. Like, you have to love the hard days. And I didn't love the hard days. And I was like, okay, well, you know, data point. It's data. It's in my degree, behavior analysis. Like, we're not motivated by it. So I was like, okay, thank you, next. So I went back to martial arts. I quit my job, which that's a whole nother segment, why I quit my job. But I quit my job and I went back to teaching martial arts, which I loved. Like, I love empowering kids, female students, women, moms, parents. I love it. I love it. Just financially, it was not what I was making at my other job, because I mean, I was living on my own. I had a personal trainer. Like, I was very well off. And so just taking that pay cut and really like humbling myself and just like, let's take time to just figure it out. Like, let's not rush. Let's take our time. It was very healing. I actually learned quite a lot about myself and I loved it. But again, I realized that I am so much bigger than just martial arts and psychology. So then I started posting on my personal account, which was like, you know what, let's just post everything that Val is. She climbs, she does martial arts, she cooks, she paints, she does poetry, she reads, she does ABA work, you know, like the whole thing, like everything that Val does. And don't get me wrong, I loved it. But I didn't, what would you say? I loved it, but I think it was too much and it was too scattered, and I think the intentions were good, and I definitely learned a lot. I learned about filming, I learned about angles, I learned about lighting, which were things that I had already pulled from other projects, and especially photography, but just differently. This is when I started making content on TikTok and things like that. But again, it's not what I wanted. Like, I wanted to speak directly to the camera and say something, like have a message. So then Naked and Raw came in, okay? Naked and Raw. Oh, I love it. So Naked and Raw was more psychology based, and it kind of touched on like my earlier undergrad days of like psychotherapy and like sex and all that stuff. I think the topic is very sexy, obviously. If you've listened to Sex with Emily or Call Her Daddy, which are really big podcasts, I wanted something that was witty and comical and funny, that could make sex or sex education very comfortable. And my whole slogan was like, if you're not having it, you're thinking about it. But I loved it. Like, I loved it. Like, it took me back to being a researcher and doing research and pulling articles and wanting to talk about them. My friend and I, we were working on this project. We had a whole ad. It was called The Pill, which was a male contraceptive that we created. Naked and Raw was a whole universe. Like, it was. We fucking went hard on this. We were really hard. I love the innuendos because we went so hard on this. But it didn't happen. And it's okay. I think both of us were just at different maturity levels where we were overcoming past traumas, or like, you know, that healing wasn't there. And so, you know, there were like things that were triggering that we would talk about, because you also have to talk about the ugly, like, you know, overcoming like a bad sexual experience or rape, or, you know, like, how are we going to talk about that? How are we going to discuss those things? Because it's not just all laugh and giggles. Like, we actually have to help people. And do we have the education for that? Are we going to bring in experts? You know, and so the project ended up being a little bit more complicated than we expected. And we just pulled it. I think at that time, both of us decided like we'd rather be friends than just address this really big topic. And let's just save it for like another day. So, okay, we decided to do that. So then another project that, you know, just would like, there's so much I wish I could show you because so much work was done for this, but it just didn't air. So then Cafecito with my friend, won't say her name, and then Val. That was a really cute idea, very in touch with like our Hispanic roots. Cafecito with, I love coffee, like it's so on brand. Just two friends having fun, talking about everyday life, society. She's very religious, I'm very psychoanalytic. So, you know, like I feel like it was again on par with like brand and who we were, but just creative differences. So we decided to strip that project again, and not a lot of work went into this one, but a lot of work did go into it. Like there was a lot of episodes that we recorded, that we edited. Not a lot of world building, not like Naked and Raw. Oh my God, so much stuff, so much artwork. But at the end of the day, the project died, fell through, and the friendship ended. And that was really hard, navigating that. And so it was just me, myself, and I. which isn't bad because I've done projects by myself before, but I definitely wanted Deep Naked Thoughts to kind of encompass all of the things that I've lived through and done and explored, in terms of research, in terms of academia, in terms of life experience. Like, I have lived in another country, I do speak Spanish, I do know entrepreneurs, I do see myself as an entrepreneur, just being a martial artist and what that's like, and what being a martial artist is as a female, what it is as a female who is Hispanic, what it's like to, like the societal differences as a Mexican American. I am a first generation. Just everything, what it's like to be a psychologist, what I like and don't like about psychology, because I don't agree with everything in my field. So I wanted Deep Naked Thoughts to be deep, not surface level. Like, I don't want to just make comedy or like laugh at things. Like, I actually want to have very deep intellectual conversations, and I want people to get something from this content. So deep, we established the word deep, and then naked. That just pays homage to Naked and Raw. And whenever we decided on the word naked, like, it really was about being stripped, about being vulnerable, about just, sitting with the truth of, whatever that truth may be, and just, being naked and owning it. So I was like, okay, Deep Naked. And I felt like I could have gone with a lot of words, like Deep Naked Martial Arts, Deep Naked Psychology, Deep Naked, like something. But I decided to go Deep Naked Thoughts, just because it would encompass a big umbrella of topics, whether it was like neuro work, or sex, or behaviorism, or martial arts, or entrepreneurship, or whatever, whatever we were talking about, whatever friends I have on. I just wanted it to be about like a big umbrella of just like the human experience. So I know a lot of my friends are professional dancers, or they are entrepreneurs, or they're singer-songwriters, musicians, or they're in the military, or like fill in the blank. Like, I have a lot of friends that inspire me to just be better and like do better, and I want to share their story too, because I've met some really amazing, wonderful people that inspire me. And so yeah, Deep Naked Thoughts was born, and I was like, okay, like, I'm doing this solo, and it sucks because it was not my intention to do this by myself, but I think that's the way it has to be in order to do it right. And I don't mean to do it right like I couldn't have done it with somebody else, but I think to see my vision come through. And I'm not just doing it by myself. My friends are very supportive. My friends come on here. My friends have believed in me from day one. And I think that's the really amazing and beautiful thing, is like, no matter how many things I try and I'm like, okay, not that project, they just stick with me, and they're like, okay, like, yeah, let's fucking try it. Let's fucking do a podcast, dude. And it's really cool to also see how many people want to share their story. So I think that kind of covers how Deep Naked Thoughts kind of came about. I love all my other projects, my other babies. I don't want to call them babies because, like, they didn't go anywhere. So I'm like, oh, my babies died. But that's it. That's it. I'm really happy to be sharing this space with you guys and to feel so supportive. I have gotten feedback. I know the audio sucks. I know. Quit telling me. Well, I don't know. Maybe don't quit telling me, because then that means you're watching. Keep telling me. The audio will get better. Just planning through scenarios. Like, I had places in mind, and then they would be closed, so I was like, oh, well, let's just go here, like, it's just closed, and then it would be like a mess. But it's also fun. It's also kind of fun to be in those spaces and places, and people asking you, like, what are you doing, and networking that way. So, give me a break. Give me a break, but the content will get better. And I also enjoy your feedback, because it's also really cool to see how analytical you guys can be and know about editing, or just mics, or just like, what, I see what you're trying to do, but have you tried this? Like, I really do love your input. And yeah, that's it. I hope to see you guys on Deep Naked Thoughts. I really do care about you guys, and I really do love you guys, the people that actually care and support me. Thank you guys, because I feel like I would have given up a long time ago if it wasn't for my friends. who were like, nah, dude, just try again. And I'm gonna see this through.